Why do you want revenge?
For kids.
For kids?
Damn.
Make them pay.
That's awesome.
Holy
Can we help you find some kind of peace?
Probably not. Yo, how you feeling right now?
I feel it all over me. Like I'm actually gonna be honest. I'm getting pretty crazy right now.
You getting aggressive?
Porn.
Ray, are you here with us right now?
What's your story? Why are you here?
The guy with glasses and a beard is trying to attach to him.
To who?
You. Why? Corinne said it's Mary Ann or Anne Marie. Is it maybe Maria or Marie? Said she can't understand her name. She's frantic.
Mary.
That's what Corinne said.
This just said flat out Mary. Ow.
This is what Corinne just told us. The man with the glasses and beard, the Mary Ann and Marie is trying to leave. Now I get it. I was trying to understand why I was told to have you cross back through the threshold. She sees you as some sort of escort. She's almost trying to sneak out behind your back, using you to hide her in a sense.
Let's go let her out.
I think she's trying to get you to walk her out.
I'll go with you, bro. I'll go with you, bro. Mary or Maria.
You feel this cold on me?
Yeah. If you feel that Wes is a protector of you, or if you think we can protect you and you feel safe, you walk between us, walk behind us. We're going to show you the way out. Come with us.
Oh, man, I don't feel good.
You don't feel good?
Oh,
What's the matter?
it's dizzy as fuck, man.
Ooh, I got like really heavy chills right here. Can you leave Can you leave Wes's energy? If you need to use some of mine, use mine.
Good, dude, that's good.
Come on out.
Don't stay, come on. The aftermath of wheeldon Manor kind of shook me for the next week or so. It mentally challenged me, it emotionally challenged me to the point that I had a few breakdowns of emotions, crying, panic. I had visions of a woman in a field. I spoke with the psychic medium, Corinne. She helped me tremendously through a lot of this. There's a lot of things you can't deny when you experience these things. People may think I'm crazy. People may think that it didn't happen. I don't think that matters. I think that everybody that was there was affected. It wasn't just me. Everybody in my team was affected by how this happened to us. We went to go investigate as a fun night with the Brotherhood, and it was a lot more than what we ever expected. And if we never have an investigation like this again, I'm content with what we've done.
I had a feeling then that I need to get out of here.
Today, something in here's not right today. Why am I so uptight today? Paranoia is all I got left. I don't know what stressed me first after how the pressure was fed, but I know just what it feels like to have a voice in the back of my head, like a face that I hold inside, face that awakes when I close my eyes, face that I watch every time I lie, face that laughs every time I fall. So I know that when it's time to sink or swim, that the face inside is hearing me right underneath my skin.
this place through searching up Facebook, and they said there's a lot of dark stuff that happens here, and I took that with a grain of salt. Everywhere has dark things that happens at, you know, their location. Wheeldon Manor is a large building, very cold or very hot. It's never comfortable either way. Lots of warehouse kind of space underneath, lots of hallways.
I'm Jason Dillahay, the owner of Wheeldon Manor.
Jason, can you tell me a little bit about this building?
Well, essentially, you know, I started out, I've had this place for about 17 years almost. Did not think it was haunted for the first 10 years. Never had an experience here that I know of. I could probably go back and look and realize that, yeah, I did have one. It was really hard to pinpoint when the building was built because it was paid for in cash when it was built, so it just kind of showed up on a city map one day. Some of the earlier records were burned in a fire, so they lost a lot of history of Central City and Muhlenberg County then. It's been a boarding house for the railroad. There was a brothel here. My first experience was the scariest just because it was really unbelievable. You know, it sounded like a train was circling my apartment because I actually lived here. It was grinding, screeching, metallic, metal on metal. And then it was like something running to the front door. I came out, and it was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop after that happened.
Yeah.
Seemed like it went on for a long time, but it was actually probably 10, 15, 20 seconds maybe.
Right.
I've seen a really huge shadow figure in the back. It was almost like a mask that just kind of blocked out everything. And I had a feeling then that I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, whether I don't know if it was threatening, but that was the first time I had actually seen that.
Tell us kind of where we're at right now in the building.
I had somebody living here for about somewhere around 9-10 years. He was a severe alcoholic. Never really had very many quality conversations with the guy. He was always drunk, but the very last conversation I had with him is he stopped me and he was like, "Hey, have you ever heard anything up here?" And I'm like, "I don't know, like what, Bill?" He's like, "I don't know, sometimes I just hear things."
Yeah.
And I just kind of left it at that. And then he stopped me again. He was like, "What about seeing things? Have you ever saw anything?" And I was like, "I don't know. Have a good day, Bill." That's kind of what I told him, you know. And he didn't want to leave here, but I was shutting the apartments down, and he ended up telling me he had an apartment and they were fixing it up, painting it and whatnot. And he actually ended up coming back living underneath the railroad tracks that run beside the building. He was homeless when he came here, and he was homeless when he left. They would come get him and take him to a shelter. They kept trying to put him in a nursing home, and he would just walk out of the nursing home, come right back down here.
Oh, wow.
He's passed away. I always kind of figured that he would come back.
Yeah. Has there ever been anything just absolutely crazy in this general area?
Yeah, you know, Brent was supposed to be here, but he's not gonna make it. We would used to, being down here working on the haunted house and things, we would come through this area and we would see this shadow down here on this back door and thinking it was our shadows. And I don't know, one day we just kind of like tested it. And so we stopped and we're thinking we're looking at our shadows, and we just like, you go that way, I'll go this way. We split, the shadow's still there.
All right, so this is the dark hallway, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, we refer to the back room there as the dark room, but you guys probably coined the dark hallway.
Yeah.
We just always call it the back hallway. But
So this consisted of 3 main rooms and then this general common area. I know there's been lots, like countless numbers of just crazy experiences back here.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say personally was your craziest experience in this general area?
I'm probably going to go back to that really big black mass that I was talking about earlier. You know, it happened right here.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
So I definitely heard a growl.
Back here, I'm kind of tuned in with it. I can feel it when it's here most of the time, and I can feel it when it's gone. And anybody that's spent a lot of time here knows that.
Yeah, it's here right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I felt it as soon as we got back here. Do I personally think there's anything evil here? I like to think no. I think there's something here that wants you to think it is evil. Just like the little girl spirit that so many people have claims, and we've caught her voice asking for mommy. I also think that is a entity trying to portray as being a little girl.
I agree completely with that.
That has to be one of them. Something's walking up here right now.
I heard it.
I'm pretty sure we coined that phrase, the dark room. And it was because we had had so many crazy experiences happen back there. And just to be on the safe side, that if anything evil was here, that would be where it was at. You know, we stopped even letting novice investigators go in there. And we would always notify teams whenever they come in, like, hey, you guys don't know your experience level, whatever, you may or may not want to do this area because of the crazy things that we've seen. Supposedly there is a horizontal portal that goes through the floor in there.
Little manor is realistically indescribable. So you have hours at a time when nothing happens, and you have hours at a time when the most intense activity you've ever seen happens.
So we were briefly talking downstairs a little bit about the history that you have with this place. You said you grew up here in Central City.
Yes.
You responded to...
I've had multiple calls over the time of this location back when it was a bunch of apartments. We had a tendency of some drug trafficking coming on. Many people were warned. We had a bunch of mentally ill subjects. Some was alcohol induced or drug induced. Some of them were just behavioral induced mental illness. Many domestic violence, especially in these apartments that we're looking at right behind here. We used to get one of those regularly, all the time. For the life of me, I can't remember who the people were that lived there. But yes, we've had multiple times that, you know, even myself and other officers, we've been here knowing there's drug trafficking going on or there's drug use. People were warned that we'd actually stand in here for large amounts of time waiting for them to come out so we could effect an arrest.
I've had lots of people ask, have you responded to deaths here?
Early in my career, there's been a couple we've had. I believe that we've had a couple drug overdoses and deaths that were related to substance abuse, those kind of things.
Lifestyle choices and
Yes,
whatnot.
basically.
Approximately how many deaths would you say that you can recall that have happened here?
Since I've worked here, I think one or two. Some of the other officers have been up here with different ones. I know they've also had problems with subjects that rent these apartments, mental illness. One was down the bottom of the steps. They got in a fight with his knife, threatening suicide upon himself. Luckily, the officers were able to come down and wait, and with utilizing the taser and the distraction technique, was able to save him by not tasing him, locking him up, so he was not able to commit suicide on himself. But those kind of mental illness calls we've had up here through my career.
You know, there's been allegations of mob activity or old 20s and 30s gang activity here, as well as there's been some documentation of this being a brothel. Now, of course, this is way before mine and yours time, but
Yes.
Do you believe in the paranormal?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Have you had any kind of weird things happen here?
The biggest thing I could ever tell you, just you'd hear a door shut and while you're in there and you're wondering, okay, are they trying to sneak out a different way or not? Or just cold spots here and there, especially down the hallway. I remember being on the next floor up there, and also down the hallway here. If you go make a right, I've personally felt cold spots by going up.
Wheeldon's a dark place. There's things here that we still haven't even, I don't feel like that we've touched, that we've even discovered to a T yet, that it's just going to take investigations on and on to figure out. And I mean, it's a scary place. I mean, I've been physically attacked here before.
What happened here was an event that we weren't prepared for. With regards to what happened, it's hard to say exactly what it was, but I did have something attached to me. I did have visions of things that I don't know if it was what they experienced and like how they may have passed or what happened to them. You know, I mean, it was an odd sensation, a lot of emotions, and it was intense. Anybody that is involved in what we do tonight may experience what I did or worse.
Anybody here with us? Yes. Have you seen us before? Can you identify us?
That's clear. Thank you for that. I guess let's do this properly. I'm sure you know, but my name is Matt.
My name is also Matt. I'm referred to as Wyatt.
My name's Ben.
Can you say hello?
Just for clarification to the camera, we literally just started the investigation. We just started this session and we're now in communication with something here.
I was just feeling his presence, I guess, manifesting a little stronger.
Did you used to live in this building or did you work in this building? I did.
We always kind of figured that he would come back.
How many spirits are in this building?
5.
Oh, there you go. Keep lining it up.
Can you give us some names of the 5 spirits? And the reason we keep asking about names
That's creepy, bro.
is so we can tell your story and we know who we're talking about. What?
That's 5. You go watch the Wheeldon return video. We asked that and it says 6. Think about what happened the last time we were, or one of the last times we were here.
Realize that shit.
With regards to what happened, it's hard to say exactly what it was, but I did have something attached to me. I did have visions of things that I don't know if it was what they experienced and like how they may have passed or what happened to them. You know, I mean, it was an odd sensation, a lot of emotions, and it was intense.
You'll stay with us in here. We're just going to turn this loudspeaker off for a second, and my buddy Matt here, we're going to have this little device in our hand, and we're going to do what we call a burst session. So we'll ask you some questions, and we'll play it back and listen for your voice.
Can you tell us your name? Can you tell us if you're a man or a woman? How old are you? What happened to you? Can you tell me one of our names? Can you tell us if you're a man or a woman?
I heard that.
Said man.
How old are you? What happened to you?
Clear as day. So now we're trying a different device that has audio banks uploaded to it that are just basically sounds and gibberish that are thrown in reverse, and if we get a response to it, it obviously should not be there. You gotta slow down for us. Is there somebody out there?
It's near Fioli.
Oh my God, yes. It just said it's near Fioli.
What is?
Do y'all want to step out in that area?
There was just a fucking whisper in
There's
here.
something right in my ear.
It just said it's
just-
near Fioli, like it walked through here.
I want a sign that you're near me. Make a noise. Stomp around. Thomas, that's what it said.
Do you see it?
Tread the
Tread the water. Tread the water. What does that mean? What are you trying to tell us?
I did have something attached to me.
We started getting some responses pretty immediately. Very rare that you start a session off and there's just things happening already. That was one of those instances. We had, upon review, a section where I walked out into the hallway after I was hearing footsteps and everybody else was hearing footsteps in that hallway. I went out there to go check and I figured something was out there trying to get our attention. So I started, saying, hey, here's your chance. I'm here. Talk to me, make a noise, do something. And through the camera audio came through a whisper and this weird light anomaly shot across the floor. Even before that, when I walked out, it said it's near Fioli through the portal. It's not very often
when you go to an investigation that just off the rip, you start getting activity, responses, and equipment, multiple different pieces of equipment lighting up. That's like a dream for us, you know, because unfortunately a lot of the times these can be really boring. You spend hours and hours in the dark and quiet, and it can be a little monotonous, but when you get there and you're ready to start filming, and off the jump you start getting activity, it's a good sign.
It was a very good investigation. We started getting evidence right off the bat. We were using Spirit Box. We were asking questions and immediately getting responses back. So that was a very good start to the night, knowing that we're already getting evidence. Let's see what we can do next.
One of us can put our hand back on that device.
Let me get my hand on it. Don't make it light up. If you are in control of it, do not let it light up until I ask you to. That way I'll know that I'm definitely talking to you.
Can you use Wes's energy to make that periscope go off? There's a thing he is touching right now.
Try to concentrate and use some of my energy to make it light up.
So obviously, you go like this. I'm touching right now. Look. So if there's something here right now, please come use my energy to make this go off. Oh my God. How do you miss it?
If I put my hand on it, will you put your hand on it? Oh my God. Did you see that shit? Yes. If I put my hand on it, will you put your hand?
Now, as everyone that's watching can see, with Wes's hand on it, it's not doing anything.
Can you touch it right now? Again, red is no, green is yes.
Wes has put his hand on this device so that you can pull energy off of him to use that. Are you a human?
You wish us harm. Are you interested in communicating with us?
If you're pissed at us for walking out, whoever you walked out, go grab that red light right there. You want to know if you're pissed.
You are mad? Well, first of all, I didn't have any clue. Okay. What are we saying yes to?
What was the last question you asked?
Do you want us to go over into the other room?
You gotta do it again if you want us to.
You can light that up to green again. We'll go into another room upstairs. You want us to go upstairs? Am I a good source of energy for you?
We're gonna go upstairs for about 10 minutes, okay?
Mine and Wes's session down in the boiler room was strange because, you know, everyone's seen the REM pods go off. I've never seen a periscope work, which always made me think that they didn't work. But we got so much periscope and digital recorder activity that it was weird. I've never had activity down there until that night, and it was popping off on us.
Down in the boiler room, I don't usually go down into that area very much and investigate. I usually stay upstairs most of the times that we've been there. the energy down there was different. The equipment we were using was very active, and that equipment was usually not something that we messed with a lot or had a lot of interaction with until we got down there. And the energy that was flowing between the periscope and my hand up to my arm, it was almost like grabbing a live wire. Like you could feel that tingle. The energy's real there. I mean, it'll set you off if you're sensitive to it. If you're not, you'll never know what that feels like, and that's kind of sad.
I think the experiments tonight are going to really, really push us all to over our boundaries. I mean, me personally, I'm a guy that will do just about anything, and I'm definitely going to do this experiment, obviously, but it's been something that really the past 2 days of coming here, been having dreams about it and thinking about it, and what if this and what if that. I don't think it's necessarily a physical factor that I'm concerned with. It's more of a psychological state. You're going to be blindfolded and tied up, and your mind's going to start playing all kinds of tricks on you, and that's the part that I think more or less worries me about the other guys on my team.
Don't expect to come through this unscathed. I think that whoever has had the most worry and fear about the experiment is going to get picked off. I've tried not to think about it. It's going to be shitty. You're going to be tied to a chair, blindfolded for an hour and a half. Like, that's stupid. We're going in this, and even if you want to get out, it doesn't mean shit. I think that it's going to, if it wants you, it's going to get you.
During the experiment, I would say I am highly susceptible, and I think really in that situation anybody will be, but it'd be like full-on panic attack caused by something, touching or whispering in your ear or whatever the case may be. The thing that bothers me the most is if it's not me, I won't be able to help the person that it is.
Tonight we are going to, I guess, pick numbers and get assigned seating for a 5-person venture into hell here at Wheeldon. We're going to be blindfolded and tied to our chairs, and there will be a prayer that's played for I think the first 30 minutes, and then after that it's 60 minutes of hold on and see what happens.
Just as me personally, I'm okay in like confined areas, but being constricted, it kind of makes me a little nervous, and I've had anxiety before, and I'm a little apprehensive to go in there and being tied up. Blindfold doesn't really bother me. Just being tied up is not being able to move or help myself if I need to is what worries me.
Oratio ad Sanctum Michael. Principes gloriosis
et ne nos inducas in tentationem. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ave Maria, Ordum Celestis, Dominus, nobis constantiam in fide, et omnibus operibus bonis, det ut gloriam paradisi obteniamus. Amen. Pater noster, Mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. In celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, ad tentationem. Amen. O princeps glorios, impietatis, 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 tatione, que nobis adversus principes,
Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance.
posuerunt abonationis et impietas. Dentes et securi accredimur. Ex
Whatever spirit or spirits are in here, now's your chance to make a really loud ass noise.
in tentationem.
So, myself being the team leader of Gateway Paranormal, I've always been big against not using Ouija boards. We were strongly against it, in fact, that we've, stood up against them on different interviews and whatnot. And I guess within the last, few months, I've been sitting kind of thinking about it, and it's realistically ridiculous to think that a piece of cardboard and or wood or whatever that has letters and numbers out formed to make these Ouija boards can open a gate to hell. I mean, that's a bit ridiculous, but myself and a couple other guys been sitting and thinking about it, talking about it, and we decided we're going to go ahead and try this out.
So basically what happened was I had made a post about using the Ouija board tonight at Wheeldon, and it's gotten blown out of proportion, I guess maybe by some people, so we'll find out what's going on with that here a little bit later. Let's feel like it's off the phone with Jason. So, sounds like it's all pretty good. It's just he was interested in what we were doing with the experiments tonight and stuff, so we'll keep it continued.
Sweet. Well, I'm sorry you've been getting blown up about it. I remember back when we first showed up, and I mean, it was a year and a half, maybe a little longer than that, but it's fucking evolved since then. I mean, that's the thing with the place that has what I believe to be some sort of portal. The place ain't ever going to be the same. It's just always going to be changing. I guess I'll open this properly. And spirits, we open this circle for communication. I'm going to move it counterclockwise across the board. This periscope.
Yeah. That's what it said.
If you're here with us, can you move it to yes so we know that you're here?
You want to come sit right here and join with us? We have an open seat for you. Before we use the Ouija board, obviously you have the Hollywood backed Ouija boards are evil. I know for the first year we were a team that we played into that. We didn't use Ouija boards, we didn't mess with them, we were advocates against them. But as time goes on and as you do more stuff in the paranormal, you tend to try to push the limit, try to get past what everyone else is doing to see if you can make it a little bit better. And that's what we did. We decided to use the evil Ouija board and realize that it's just a piece of cardboard. It's all about your intentions and how you use it.
You like us in your room? You moving that shit?
I swear to God, my hands are barely out of the book, bro.
Can you show us that you're here?
It's a piece of cardboard, piece of plastic with another piece of plastic. No different than Chutes and Ladders, no different than Candyland. I don't feel like it's the Ouija board itself that gives you the energy. I believe it's the the people that are involved with the focus and the energy going into the questions that are asked at the locations you're doing these activities at.
You moving that?
No. I barely have my hands on it at all.
I got stuff coming through here.
Do you? If you're gonna answer us,
Is there somebody else responsible for moving this planchette other than the three guys sitting down?
I guess I'm one of the guys in the group that's still on that. I'm not real sure about if I want to be physically involved with the Ouija board. I understand the mentality of its communication regardless of what piece of equipment you're using, but there's an aspect of it that I'm not super comfortable with.
it's like
Does that mean you're here with us?
Is a little different than I was expecting. You know, the planchette first starts moving, and then we're all kind of looking at each other like, "Hey, man, you moving that? Are you moving that?" And the answer was no across the table, and we started getting direct responses to the stuff that Wyatt was yelling out.
Hey, Matt.
That shit was crazy, dog.
So, literally what it just said. Hey, Matt.
Are you part of the Legion?
The first part of the experiment was a little unnerving. That board hadn't been used in a long time, so you know I was interested to see how it was going to kind of react at wheeldon with us using it. It was dirty. It was direct. There was a flow of energy that was like going between the three of us that was pretty heavy.
She is coming through like crazy. Yeah, I need to take it out of headphones.
I'm gonna assume what they're saying on yes.
Are you a human?
Does anyone control you?
Female.
D?
After I asked if it was human.
I wasn't paying attention to the board very intentionally. I didn't really want to see what responses were coming through. I didn't really want to hear your questions. And it's hard to tell watching the film, but we're running the spirit box through a portal through headphones. So it was very loud.
Devil. I gotta take this off headphones. You guys gotta listen to this. I'm telling you.
Did you just hear that? What he just said?
You need to keep that on and keep saying what you hear.
Bro.
Because that was a direct response.
Then moved to D and I said, is that for...
No, you asked if it was human or not, and I went to D, and you said it said devil.
How many spirits are in this room with us?
That's fine. Oh, it's on.
I can hear that on the headphones.
Mm-hmm.
I almost...
First time the planchette moved, it brought me back to being 15 again and going to someone's house and playing with the Ouija board and it moving and everybody being like, what the fuck are you moving? And everybody saying no. And at that time being like somebody's moving it. Well, now that I'm 28 years old and I had two guys that I trust with my life doing it with me, I knew there was no reason for them to lie. It was moving by itself.
I have my fingers off of this dude.
No.
There's 3 spirits in here with us.
I mean, I'm barely even.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Demon.
This fucking crazy dog.
Are you good spirits?
Fuck you.
Okay.
Serious? Person in the middle?
It's a three-way.
This is fucking crazy.
I can't hear you, bro.
This is like.
This is fucking crazy.
Like my fingertips are like grazing it right now.
Yeah, like I barely have them on there.
Oh.
I'm having a hard time keeping them on because I'm fucking shivering.
Yeah.
Do we need to close this portal? I think we probably should if this is what we think it is. We're only here to talk to good spirits.
Please go, female.
I heard that.
We're going to close this now.
Yep. Go back, I guess counterclockwise again. I'll close this circle. This session is over. Goodbye.
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 It was cool seeing how the experiment played on. I decided to be an observer. I didn't really want to take part in it. When I was first thinking about the experiment, knowing that I wasn't going to do it, I was also nervous for my brothers that were doing it. Just to make sure that they stayed safe, that nothing went wrong, nothing too crazy started going on.
Are there in fact 3 spirits in this room?
Are they demons?
Is there
Yes.
a legion?
I heard a
It'll hurt you or me?
What was that?
What the fuck?
I just said,
I just heard Matt.
yes.
What was that? Dude, that scared the fuck out of me.
It said your name.
What in the fuck?
What That was out here? It was like right next to
Yeah.
me, and I had the full ass chills. It was
Yeah.
like.
We got that fucking name here before.
Yeah, but I don't know what it was. What it pertained to.
We got it back here whenever we did the wheeldon return.
Is there a Catherine?
What did you just say?
Is there a Catherine?
That's fucking bizarre. Like 1 second before you said that, I heard Catherine through here.
We just got it to that.
They got it through that.
The next board we decided to use is the Bob's board. We had that sent to us anonymously in the mail. These boards are made after a serial killer's design of how he made it. It's got every letter looks like a ransom note, and there's different pictures and things involved in this board. That it's a very confusing board. It's not plain Jane letters. It's kind of not necessarily mixed matched, but it's kind of hard for someone just to read out. It's just a little different than a normal board.
First board had a heavy feeling. It was very, very negative, and all the answers were negative. and we closed that one quickly. And the second one was just a board, no negativity attached to it.
Okay, so with the second boards experiment, I'll put the board in different directions so that you don't have any kind of sense of direction, and so anybody watching could say, it doesn't matter if they're moving it, there's no way they could possibly pick a relevant answer or letter or whatever the case may be.
Can't see under your blindfolds, can't see the direction of the board, nothing. This ain't like being tied down in the chair where you sneak out of your blindfolds so you can see. There you go.
I'm not going to direct our hands to the planchette.
Yeah, I got you.
Click in or anything.
Okay. Just leave my hand hovering above it, so I'll push down on it yet.
That's it right there. We open this circle for communication. Spirits come through, talk to us.
Do you have a good shot on the board? Can you see it really good?
Yeah.
Like the words and stuff? You won't be able to tell very well on that.
Are you still here with us?
Said, are you still here with us?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this motherfucker's moving.
It is moving. Ask another question. Hold right there. Take pressure off. Now move my hand around.
We decided to blindfold ourselves doing it, and while in the middle of it, Matt Wyatt would turn the board.
Alright. Can you give us the first letter of your name again?
If there is in fact a Catherine, can you move this to the letter C? Or K? The bottom board's all mixed up, right? It's not like this.
Yeah, it is.
What's the next letter?
Let it finish doing something first. You want to try the next letter now?
When you take away your vision from doing it, because that was our intent, was to disprove whatever we could. If we could debunk it, hey, even better. But the flow was completely different. We didn't have that dirty feeling, that negative energy running through it. I don't even recall half the time the board moving, or not the board necessarily, but the planchette moving.
Do another counter. How about yes and no questions? Those might be a little easier.
I don't know, man. Just leave it be for a minute. Can you give us the third letter of your name, please?
I'm trying to read.
Okay, sorry. So you're fine, but I want to make sure it was you.
We had the name Catherine come through, which we've gotten before, and we also went into the next session and she started spelling her name out on the board. So that to me was pretty incredible.
I feel like a bite on my ankle.
Y'all can even notice what it's spelling out.
Okay. It's lighting up over here.
Perfect.
Closing this circle of communication. Portal is closed. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Get out.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
The second board was hard to explain because the answers were not as in your face as the first board, but the evidence that that second board pulled was a little bit more, I guess, appealing to me because it was in accordance with what we were doing at Wheeldon Manor.
And I fully expected nothing to happen. I didn't expect there to be any kind of relevance whatsoever, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was absolutely relevant.
The second time was a little bit easier, a longer session. The first session was quick. It was probably one of the quickest ones I'd ever done. But the second session was, we could have done that all night. Wheeldon is a place with a lot of different trapped energies there. When it picks one, it tends to really pull that energy out, and we got that throughout the evening through the portal, which was running while we were doing the second experiment. You know, it tried to spell it out, very close to on the second attempt, you know, on the board with us being blindfolded. So you can disprove that all you want to, but you know, it happened.
We are currently on the way to meet up with some investigators that have been out to Wheeldon a few times. We got JB Coates and Greg TJ Justice, Billy Sims, and Tanya Frazier.
Oh yeah.
Definitely curious to see how their experience with Wheeldon has been compared to ours. And, you know, maybe what similarities and what differences, and see if they've even picked up anything like we've picked up. You know, locations sometimes can be tricky like that. You'll have one team get something very dark and the other team not really get anything at all.
We need to try to maybe see if we can put them in some uncomfortable situations like we've been doing the last few months. Something that maybe
Pushes the limits.
Yeah, communicate to them during their interviews, you know, what's something that you wouldn't want to do at Wheeldon Manor, and then say, do you mind doing this at Wheeldon Manor?
This whole event situation gives us a whole new outlook on an experiment. We can have tons of people in there for these spirits to drain energy off of.
And then send somebody in alone.
Yes.
Not it.
Wheeldon will grab you. It'll pull you in. Hopefully there's enough energy for all of the spirits that we know are there to come to light. We'll see what happens in the dark.
Wheeldon definitely has a tricky way of splitting people up and making you angry, making you sad.
Making you glad, making you mad.
I don't think I've been glad.
I've been glad when we left a couple times.
It's very, very interested to see how these new folks react to Wheeldon. Although they've been there a few times, they haven't been there with us.
Couple that there's times when Wheeldon sucks.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be there. And we'll see what happens, I guess.
See, I've been to Wheeldon Manor a total of a dozen times. It's one of those places that kind of calls you back. It's like, wait, you didn't get enough last time, come back. We got something new for you. And there's always something new. It's not like it's stagnant. You're like, oh, it's just the footsteps, or, you know, it's just the the shadow person who like peeks around the corner. It's always something new. You always find something new. The last time I was there, I had an experience where I am an empath, so I feel other people's feelings. I also have the ability to feel the feelings of the dead that are around me. This one time, I got a feeling of a young girl who was distraught, devastated. She was wondering why this had happened to her. And it was just a strong feeling of just, I don't want to be here anymore. And I couldn't help but just start crying uncontrollably. This girl was like, they let this happen. She couldn't fathom why they had chosen her for this to happen to her. I cried and I cried and I cried, and I had to leave the building, and I could not control it. I knew it wasn't mine, but it was so overwhelming that I couldn't help but react to it. Wheeldon Manor has just been one of those places that I will go back to over and over and over again.
The craziest thing that I have witnessed there was I was doing a public event there last year, which would have been 2018. It was in May. Me and my fiance, and he's also a part of my team as well at Rednecks and Rainbows Paranormal. We were going to get pizza for the public event, like for break. And while we were going to get pizza, I got about 2 or 3 frantic calls, like, you gotta get back here, you gotta get back here. What? I'm trying to get the pizza, give me just a minute. And then when I get back there, when we pull up, he drops me off at the front door. Well, as soon as I get out, I see this lady, and she gives me like the most evil look that I've ever seen, like anybody. And then she basically looked at me, she goes, like one of those kind of looks, and I was like, that doesn't even look like her face. Like the face had changed and formed to like somebody else's face. And then I see her proceed to like lift this 250-pound man and throw him up against a brick wall, and she's like 145, 150 pounds, and he was maybe that tall, that far off of the ground. And then she just drops him, and she was trying to actually get back in the building. She actually tried to pull JB's watch off. She spit like salt water on her, like in their faces and things like that. I don't typically like going by myself, because where I'm an empath and where I feel the energies, I get messed with a lot more. I usually get my hair pulled, or I'll get kicked or poked or something like that. So I usually like to have somebody with me, so that way if it gets too intense, they can pull me out of there.
Well, as you guys probably know, Wheeldon is conflicted. You know, one minute you're there and it's a completely quiet, bright environment, and on the drop of a dime, it goes dark. I mean, to the point where anxiety sets in. The place does give me anxiety. I actually had night terrors because of Wheeldon Manor, and they lasted 2 to 3 months, and we're talking violent dreams. In the night terrors, it's almost as if it was part of me. It was me doing the acts of violence, whether it be to total strangers or to people that I hold dear and true to my heart. There was no one or the other, it was both. I mean, just very, very violent. I'm talking about murder, I'm talking about beating the crap out of people, stuff that horror movies are made of. Wheeldon brought that onto me. It's just one of them places, man.
What would be your most uncomfortable area of Wheeldon? What's the place that gives you the most heebie-jeebies, so to speak?
That back.
Boss's room?
Yeah, the back right corner, or left corner, over by the doll room.
So do you think there's a way that we could convince you to do an isolation experiment in that room if we had people close by?
Like how close by? Like in the room? If you guys promise that I'm gonna be okay, then yes, I will.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we can promise that. Well, I'll promise to be close by.
Well, someone will get to you within 5 seconds.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I can do 5 seconds.
Awesome.
Yes.
Hypothetically, sort of, if we had some DVR cameras set up and we had some people stationed, relatively close or whatever, would you be comfortable doing an isolation at Wheeldon?
I would try it. It depends on, like I said, the location. Don't think I would do it in the basement, but anywhere else I would probably be game for it.
So can we convince you to do it in the basement?
Possibly, as long as you have people close enough that if
We will
something
have somebody
messes
right
up-
outside the basement door
Yeah.
ready to come get you.
Sure, I'll do it.
Got the old GPS crew here, headed to Wheeldon Manor. Casey's back there chilling.
What's up?
This is old Wyatt.
Hey Wyatt, the frat got that shit.
Benjamin.
Dang What's up, guys?
Wyatt's the frat guy. Kappa Sig!
Kappa Sig.
I don't even know. So we're headed up to Wheeldon. We're gonna have an event tonight. We're gonna do a couple more experiments and
Looking forward to tonight. Like Matt said, I'm ready to get some more final shots for the documentary and get this stuff limped out. Plus, we always enjoy our time to Wheeldon. Great food around there too. I'm kind of looking forward to that. How you feel about it, Wes? What are you planning on tonight, Matt? What are you looking forward to, buddy?
I'm looking forward to seeing how some of these experiments go down. Especially some of these people are very adamant about not doing these experiments. Like, not necessarily not doing them, but they were very worried about it when we first initially asked them.
Onto South Broadway.
I guess these are basically just bait experiments.
So the idea is light is invisible. This is a new theory I'm trying to promote. And it's true. You can't see this beam of light from the side. It could be the brightest light in the world, but it's invisible sideways. I got introduced to software MIT was working on about 4 years ago, and they're working on software that amplifies small color changes in video over time. And they also amplify motion. They got paid by DARPA, military, to do this, $16 million. What I added to it, though, was the idea that we need to mist up the air. So to see this beam of light, you got to put mist in there, right? So now you can see it. So we're using an intersecting light. Then with the mist, it creates a baseline for the software.
I would like to see you do that, and I would like for you to ask for Mary or Maria to show herself.
She would.
Please.
I'm going to start recording in advance. All right. Okay, so I'm recording with the software.
Maria, is there any chance we could get you to show yourself above Wes's hand?
We're going to miss the area. Please show.
You get to go back home.
Okay, I'm getting not Maria, but
Holy
some
shit.
other person looking down at your hand.
That's a fucking body.
Yeah. See?
Shit.
Where's it at?
I mean, right there.
Green face guy.
Is there a body? Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't call him body, but yeah.
Yeah, that's it looks like an old man.
Looks like he's wearing overalls though.
Who's making that light up? What's on the phone?
Probably won't. My phone is only at 4 hours.
How many spirits are back here?
7.
What's that, 7? 7? Do that.
Whoa, big spike. All the way to red.
You can use the power in these devices if you need more energy. Let's see it go to red. 4. Almost.
Oh,
Good job.
I've got it too.
Oh, wow.
I had it too.
Who's making that do that? We picked up the name Catherine in here last time. Is this Catherine? Yes. Well, hello, Catherine.
Yeah. Nothing's going off now. Hey, it's cooking for you too, then.
I want you to step back.
We'll split in half. We'll have some people go in here, which is, so this room right here is what they call Maggie's room. We've got a ball moving by itself in there.
Maggie might be right here.
Maggie could be in here. People say that Maggie's a little girl. We do not believe that she is a little girl. We'll leave it at that. So, if you guys want to go in that room and investigate also, we can take whatever we have on the floor over there with you.
Do you want this back?
They can hold it.
There it was again.
Yeah.
That was clearly.
How you didn't hear through there. Maggie, if that was you, why was your voice so strange? We've heard your voice before. It didn't sound like that.
Go away is what I just heard.
Do you want us to go away because we're starting to get close to what's going on?
That was weird. I could have swore I heard like a very faint yeah.
I did too. And it was a female.
Yeah.
Was.
That's so weird, bro, because I was literally about to ask if there was a female spirit next to Casey.
I'm telling you, man, Maggie's something.
I'm evil.
You hear that, bro?
I heard that.
Dude, I got super chills. Oh my god.
That was Maggie, bro.
My arms are chilled out.
Then, who's still in there? Who's still in there? Who's still in there?
Yeah. That wasn't you?
I thought that was you.
I thought that was you.
Like literally.
No, I heard a piano go ting.
No, that was not me. I thought it was your shit.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, because you were saying that was Bob, and I was like, no. I was like, that's. And you said no, it
No,
said
that's why I
Bob.
walked back in there because I was on my way back
Okay.
down.
Yeah, no.
Hey, he was. You see where that hanging cord is?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought this was the piano, and I thought you hit the key right here.
No.
Wow.
Whoa.
Whoa,
baby. Are you over here by us?
I mean.
He's running away from you.
Can you do that again?
Yep. He's running away from you. He's playing with you.
Can you do it blue instead of green?
It's green.
How about blue?
He's coming back. Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. That's what he's doing. He's playing with you.
Now that he's down there, come back down here real
back,
quick.
hurry, hurry, hurry.
Come back real fast.
Come back to base. Touch base.
He's looking for you.
He's all the way down there. Come on back. Go.
Good job, good job, good job.
You're safe.
Stay there, Terry.
Here, can you make this one light up now?
There really is no reason for those to be moving. There are no open windows or anything down there. You want me to go back that way?
Yep, red hit on the K2.
I'm gonna be right down here. So if you need me, just holler.
All right.
It's literally at the end of this hallway.
Mm-hmm. My name's JB. Can you tell me your name? Okay. I can feel you. Can you explain to me why you're angry? No nonsense type of man. I hear you. There are plenty of items here. Use their energy. The temperature is dropping. 64, 63.6. Now are you ready to talk to me? You just stuck with me for like 15 more minutes. I feel a creepy crawling all over my body. Just uncomfortable. Hit on the cake too. Can you light this all the way up for me? Thank you. Can you make it red? Please? I've got chills all up and down my arms. You are a very, very strong man. But I feel like you lost your will. I feel like you worked real hard for a very long time and nothing worked. And you lost your way. Is that what happened to you? God, I feel like you're not done. There was a female before, but she left and now she's back. She's older. Can you tell me your name? The female who just came into the room. What is your name? Did you live here?
Maybe you're awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad I can help.
Did you not like JB back here talking to you? Or do you not like us in here? Oh, I just saw out of the corner of my eyes some like red eyes in this little cutaway shit. No way.
Is that water? We're gonna get over here. Yeah. We're gonna get this opening over here. Go right one more time, and left one more time. You should be in your spot. Yep. It's recording right now. We'll have somebody at the top of those stairs right there. The three of us. If it gets too much for you, just yell one of our names.
Okay.
We'll come get you.
You have your walkie on you?
I do.
Okay, I got a walkie.
All right.
Holler at us if you need us.
Here's an extra battery.
Oh, so you're here with me. Hi. My name's TJ. Will you tell me your name? Ah, I see you. Thank you. Is that your answer for yes? Here's the extra battery.
We just got done with our event. It was a fun evening.
It was a fun evening. I thought we had a pretty good mix of people, man. Like,
No, you're right. The turnout was good. I think it's safe to say this was a good night to conclude the documentary.
I'm tossing in bed, can't sleep in basements, live in the wasteland below. It's all in our head, fear and frustrations, chest pain sensations, I know. Trying to isolate, side of cyberspace. Now I found another level, no I'm not a saint. Hating my mistakes, all the angels wait, but I'm dancing with the devil. Dancing with the devil. Dancing with the devil. I'm tossing in bed, feeling I'm vacant, anger misplaced in my soul. Hung from a thread, clearly temptation, nothing is sacred below. Find a quiet place, blind my escape, with the gas up on my pedal, no I'm not a saint. Hey, my mistakes, all the angels wait, but I'm dancing with the devil. Dancing with the devil. Dancing with the devil. Driving like 205, just to know I'm alive. I'm terrified, terrified. Driving like 205, just to know I'll survive. I'm terrified, terrified. I'm terrified, I'm terrified. Yeah, I'm paralyzed, I'm terrified. I'm scared to die, I'm scared to die.